Shalom, shalom. Giving honor and praise to the creator of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshua Israel. Going to go over a short matter due to presentations or statements or so forth. We're going to start in the book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 10. Now, this is speaking about if a man marries a woman that works for him and the rules regarding this. It says, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. This right here distinctly tells you, if a man is married to a woman, in this case, this happens to be a woman who works for him, and she becomes his wife, and he gets another wife, there are certain things that that man is still obligated to do. Just because you went from a monogamous relationship to a polygynous relationship, you do not neglect certain responsibilities that you have in that regard. Let's go, if we will, to Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15, and it says the following. So we can gain some understanding with that. If a man has two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that is hated. Now, this right here in the law is talking about what happens if a man happens to have two wives. Now, we want to understand something in the Hebrew culture. There is no, I'm not feeling that, I'm not feeling her, quote unquote. It's either love or hate. It's either alive or dead. It's either laughing or crying. See, Hebrew culture is pretty direct. This is why you don't really find Hebrew words for words such as would and should. They don't exist in the Hebrew language. The English language, not getting sidetracked from what we're talking about, allows you to have the ability to be irresponsible and unaccountable. It allows you that wiggle room that Hebrew doesn't allow you to have. Either you love or you hate. There is no, if and any, it's a love-hate kind of thing. No. Either love or hate. So we just want to point that out in that regard. Right? So this right here says, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. So this right here shows you what to do in a polygynous relationship, even if there is one love and one hate in that situation. Now, let's go, if you will, to Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 17, so we can gain some understanding of what we're talking about. And it says this, neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away, neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. Now, in this particular case, this is talking about if the Israelites were to have a king set over themselves. It says part of the rules of such is that this king is not supposed to multiply wives unto himself. Now, sometimes people go here to say that this is telling you that the law is saying that Israelites should not do polygyny. But let's read this again. It says, neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. So now we already know that a king is going to have riches and victuals. He's going to have silver and gold. What this is saying is that he's not supposed to greatly multiply silver and gold. We already know that a king is going to have more than one wife. But what the Lord is saying is that he's not supposed to multiply the number of wives that he has. So now we want to point out, just as we did with the love and the hate, we want to point out the difference in the Hebrew culture between adding and multiply. Brothers and sisters, let us go, if we will, to Genesis chapter 30, verse 24. And it says this. Genesis 30, verse 24 says the following. And she called his name Joseph and said, Yah shall add to me another son. So we already see in the case with Rachel giving birth that she is asking of the Most High that the Most High will add to her another son. Not multiply to her any sons, but add to her another son. Let's go, if we will, brothers and sisters, to Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 9. All right? And it says this. If thou shalt keep all these commandments to do them, which I command thee this day, to love Yah your power, and to walk ever in his ways, then shalt thou add 3 cities more to these besides these 3. So we already see about the addition with children, which was desired, and there was nothing wrong with that. We already see Moses in Deuteronomy chapter 19 talking to the people about adding on 3 cities if the people keep the commandments of the Most High. But in keeping the commandments of the Most High, it says in regards with the matter of a king, it says, neither shall he multiply wives to himself. So we want to point out that in Hebrew, the word yasaf or yasap means add. The word rab or rabah means to multiply. So there's 2 different words regarding adding and multiplying. Nowhere does it say that the king cannot have more than one wife. This is something we want to point out. What he is not supposed to do is multiply wives. So if a king has 3 wives, anything times anything doesn't give you 3. 1 times 1 gives you 1. 1 times 2 gives you 2. 1 times 3 gives you 3. But sadly, you have people who may not understand the distinction between adding and multiplying, but then will say that the Lord is talking about a man to only have 1 wife. Furthermore, and to be candid in respect, if you're not in a relationship or a courtship seeking marriage, or if you choose to be single, you can't turn around and then say that the Lord is talking about us only being in monogamous relationships. Because if you're single, you're not even fulfilling that law about marriage. So these are just things that we just want to point out for reason and purposes. All right? So with that, just want to state that in shalom.